Most people don't give up on gardening because they don't enjoy it. They give up because the plants don't hold up. You bring something home that looks full and blooming at the store, and a few weeks later, it starts to thin out. Fewer flowers, more leaves. Maybe it stops blooming altogether unless you stay on top of watering, feeding, trimming every little thing. And if you got a busy schedule, or you just don't feel like managing plants that closely, it turns into work pretty quickly. But over the years, I've noticed something. Some plants just don't respond that way. They don't need perfect timing or ideal conditions. They keep blooming through heat, uneven watering, and the kind of soil most of us actually have in our yards. They're not delicate, and they're not demanding. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 plants that I've seen bloom steadily with very little attention. Just real garden conditions, nothing fancy. If what you're after is steady color, without having to think about it too much, these are the kinds of plants that make that possible. They're not completely maintenance-free. Nothing is. But they're about as close as you'll get in a typical home garden. Let's start with one that tends to do well even when it's a bit overlooked. Coreopsis is one of those plants people don't expect much from at first. It doesn't look particularly impressive in a small pot at the garden center. But once it settles in, it starts doing something a lot of plants struggle with. It just keeps blooming, not in big, dramatic waves, but steadily, quietly, without needing much from you. And what catches people off guard is how little it reacts when conditions aren't perfect. Miss a watering here and there, give it average soil, let the sun beat down on it. It keeps going. Coreopsis is what I call a dependable bloomer. It's not trying to put on a show all at once. Instead, it spreads its flowering out over the season, which is really what most home gardens benefit from. In a typical suburban yard, where soil might be a mix of clay and filled dirt, it doesn't seem to mind much. As long as it gets decent sunlight, it establishes fairly quickly and then settles into a rhythm. What I've noticed over the years is that it doesn't demand rich soil. In fact, if the soil is too rich, you might get more foliage and flowers. It actually performs better when things are a little lean. Watering-wise, it's forgiving. You don't want to let it completely dry out for long stretches, especially early on, but once it's established, it can handle a bit of inconsistency without shutting down. Another thing that helps with continuous blooming is that many varieties are what people call self-cleaning. You don't have to go out there and remove every spent flower. It keeps pushing out new buds on its own. It also handles heat better than a lot of softer perennials. In the middle of summer, when other plants start to slow down, Coreopsis tend to keep producing, even if the blooms get a little smaller. It's not flashy, it's not dramatic. But if your goal is something that fills space with color over time without needing constant input, this is one that earns its spot. Another one that behaves a little differently, but is just as reliable in its own way, is, a lot of people hear geranium and think of the bright red annuals in pots. But this is a different kind altogether. Cranesbill geranium doesn't rely on big bursts of flowers. Instead, it spreads out low, fills in space, and keeps producing blooms in a more relaxed, steady way, almost like it's not trying too hard. And once it gets established, it tends to take care of itself more than people expect. Cranesbill geranium is one of those plants that quietly does its job without drawing much attention to itself. And that's part of why it works so well. In real garden conditions, especially in beds where soil quality isn't perfect, it adapts pretty easily. It forms a low mound or spreading layer, which helps cover bare spots and suppress weeds over time. The bloom pattern is different from something like Coreopsis. You'll often get an early flush, then a lighter but consistent scattering of flowers through the season. If you give it a light trim after that first big bloom, it often comes back with another round. But even without that extra step, it doesn't just stop. What I've found useful is how well it handles partial shade. Not every yard gets full sun all day, and this is one that doesn't fall apart when light conditions aren't ideal. Water needs are moderate. It prefers not to stay soggy, but it's also not overly sensitive if watering isn't perfectly timed. And because it grows in a dense, slightly spreading habit, it creates a kind of living mulch effect, helping the soil hold moisture and reducing the need for constant upkeep. It's not the kind of plant people brag about, but it's often the one that keeps the garden looking complete when other things come and go. Now, if your yard deals with serious heat, this next one tends to outperform most others without much effort. Lantana is one of those plants that almost seems to prefer tough conditions. Hot sun, dry soil, long stretches without rain. Situations that wear other plants down. This is where lantana really starts to take off. And instead of slowing down in the heat, it often blooms harder in warmer regions or during peak summer. Lantana becomes one of the most reliable bloomers you can have. What stands out is how well it handles stress. High temperatures don't seem to slow it down much. In fact, you'll often see it covered in clusters of small, brightly colored flowers when other plants are struggling just to stay alive. It's especially useful in areas where watering isn't consistent. Once established, it develops a level of drought tolerance that makes it much less dependent on regular care. Soil-wise, it's not picky. Sandy soil, average garden beds, even slightly poor conditions. It adapts without much trouble. One thing to be aware of is that it prefers full sun. The more light it gets, the better it performs. In shaded areas, it can get leggy and bloom less. Another benefit is that it doesn't require much grooming. You can trim it back if it gets too large or uneven, but it's not something you need to constantly manage. In terms of bloom duration, it's one of the longer performers through the warm season. As long as temperatures stay up, it keeps producing. If your biggest challenge is heat and inconsistent care, this is one that tends to solve both at once. Now, if you're looking for something that produces even more flowers, almost nonstop, this next one takes it a step further. Calibrachoa doesn't just bloom, it pours out flowers. Once it gets going, the foliage almost disappears under the color. And unlike some heavy bloomers, it doesn't need constant deadheading to keep that going. That's where it starts to stand out. Calibrachoa is often used in containers and hanging baskets, but it works just as well in garden beds where drainage is decent. What makes it different is the density of its blooms. Instead of spaced out flowers, you get a continuous covering, almost like a blanket of color in a home garden setting. It's especially useful if you want immediate visual impact without waiting for plants to fill in slowly. It does prefer well-draining soil. If the ground holds too much water, it can struggle, but in typical raised beds or containers, it settles in quickly. Watering needs are moderate. It doesn't like to dry out completely, but it's also not as demanding as it looks. With a consistent routine, not perfect, just consistent, it keeps performing. One of the biggest advantages is that it's self-cleaning. You don't need to remove spent blooms. It naturally cycles through flowers without that extra work. It also responds well to light feeding, but even without much fertilizer, it continues to produce at a steady pace. If you're after something that delivers a high volume of blooms without a lot of maintenance steps, this is one of the more efficient choices. And finally, for spots that don't get full sun, which is where a lot of plants struggle, this last one tends to hold its color better than most. Shade is where a lot of flowering plants start to fade out. Fewer blooms, slower growth, more effort for less return. But wax begonias don't really follow that pattern. They keep producing color in lower light, and they do it without needing much attention. Wax begonias are one of the more dependable options for areas that don't get full sun all day. In typical home gardens, along shaded walkways, under trees, or on the north side of a house, they continue to bloom in conditions where many other plants would slow down. The flowers aren't large, but they're consistent. And because they're produced continuously, the overall effect is steady color rather than short bursts. They also have a slightly thicker leaf, which helps them tolerate periods of miswatering better than more delicate plants. Soil doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it drains reasonably well, they adapt without much issue. Another advantage is that they don't require deadheading. Like a few others on this list, they're self-cleaning, which reduces the amount of routine maintenance. They're also compact, which makes them easy to fit into smaller spaces or use as edging plants. In terms of effort versus return, they're one of the more balanced choices, especially in shaded areas where options are limited. And when you step back and look at all of these together, a pattern starts to show up. Plants that bloom continuously tend to share a few simple traits. They don't rely on one big flowering cycle. Instead, they produce buds gradually over time. They also tolerate stress better, heat inconsistent watering, average soil, which means they don't shut down the moment conditions aren't perfect. And a lot of them don't need constant cleanup. They handle their own bloom cycle without requiring you to step in. That combination is what makes them work in real gardens, not just ideal ones. If you want a garden that stays colorful without turning into a daily task, it comes down to choosing the right plants from start. Not the ones that look the best for a week, but the ones that keep going for months. Start with 1 or 2 of these. See how they respond in your space, and build from there. Over time, you'll end up with a garden that takes care of itself more than you expect, and still looks like you put in effort.